Hey guys, welcome to another Disney ranking video here on the channel. Now, if you were here last week, we looked at the Disney Golden Age of animation and ranked those movies best to worst. And here we're going to be doing pretty much the exact same thing, only we're going to be moving forward and looking at the Disney wartime era, or as it's also known, the package film era, consisting of 6 films and taking place between 1943 and 1949. The package film era is a very interesting time for Disney, consisting of these 6 films that were basically a bunch of shorts that were strung together into feature films, and a lot of this is due to budgetary reasons, Disney making money to fund other bigger projects down the road, such as Cinderella, but also because of the US's emergence into World War II and a lot of Disney animators being drafted into the war. And so we get these much cheaper, smaller films that are very different from what we got in the golden age of Disney. Now, this is a very interesting time for Disney, with a bunch of experimenting that Disney just didn't get to do much in the golden age and really see what sticks. And this era in Disney really isn't talked about as much as the other eras in Disney. There's many more eras in Disney that are much more popular than this era, but I find it so interesting. Now, right off the bat, I will say that I don't particularly love any of the films that I'm going to be talking about, except for one, and we will be getting to that, but I still find it an interesting era nonetheless, with some interesting ideas. So anyway, enough with the history lesson, enough with the backstory. Let's get into this ranking by looking at number 6. And at number 6 we have The Three Caballeros, which many people might be surprised is this low on the list. This is the only one of these movies that I don't really care for. I appreciate a lot of things that this film does. I love the abstract imagery. I like that it's very much Disney doing surrealist animation, and all that stuff is really interesting, but I just find myself so tired and exhausted watching this film that I'm not really that entertained. There's only about 2 shorts in this entire film that I really do enjoy. They're at the very beginning of the film with the penguin especially, but other than that, the other stories with the Three Caballeros that the movie is based on, I don't really care about. The animation is wonderful and creative, but there's just nothing about it that really sticks with me, and it's just a movie that is really dull to me, and it's sad because it's so creative and visually creative, but I just don't have fun with this one at all, and that's why it is this low on the list and is definitely my least favorite. I do like some of the aspects that are in this, such as the things to do with South America, and I think that's interesting. I also like the idea that this is really where we start to see animation and live action being combined together, that we would see perfected in movies such as Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But other than that, I don't really care for this film. At number 5, we have Fun and Fancy Free, which is an extremely weird movie for a lot of reasons, but basically these 2 shorts are really a lot of fun, although I will say that the story of Bongo is definitely my least favorite. The only part of this short that I really like is the song where the bears are falling in love with each other by slapping each other, and that song is so funny that plays in that segment that it is really entertaining, but it's mostly a alright short. But then we get the Mickey Mouse and the Beanstalk story, which is really creative and a lot of fun. We get Mickey, Donald, and Goofy all together, with Disney himself providing the voice of Mickey, and it's a lot of fun. It's very creative, but This movie also has the weirdest thing I have ever seen, and it makes me extremely uncomfortable with this live action segment of this ventriloquist having a party with this little girl with these puppets talking, and it's very creepy, and I don't like it. It scares me, and maybe that's why I don't like this movie as much as the others. It creeps me out, and also the first half is not as entertaining as the second half. But overall, this is an enjoyable film with some great animation and some interesting ideas, and some really creepy ones too. At number 4, we have Make Mine Music, which might just be the most underrated movie on this list. It is very much in the vein of Fantasia, where it is basically a bunch of shorts strung together with musical accompaniment, and a lot of these have a jazz feel to them, but not all of them. Some of them do operatic stuff, such as the whale story at the very end. And this is a very creative movie with a lot of interesting animation. However, I think the weakest part of this movie is that not all the animated segments are that engaging. There's only a couple of them that I really remember, such as Casey at the Bat, as well as the whale story at the end of the movie. The other ones are just kind of forgettable, and it's kind of Fantasia light, but it is still really creative and a lot of fun. The music is really good, the animation is a lot of fun, and it's just really fun, but nothing particularly special. But I think it should be looked at for its animation and its creativeness, and it's just fun. Now at number 3, this might surprise some people, is Saludos, Amigos, which is a film I really enjoyed. Like, this is a more documentary type style Disney movie, only being about 42 minutes. It is definitely a prelude to what we would see in The Three Caballeros. In fact, we see the introduction of one of the three caballeros in this movie with Jose. And I thought that was really interesting, and I just love the idea of this documentary in the form of animation, and you get to learn a little bit about South America as well, even though it's really cutesy and very surface level. It is still a lot of fun seeing the animators draw these things and then being brought to life with engaging, fun little stories that are nothing amazing or anything, but it does really show the creative process of being an animator at Disney, and I just found that really engaging, and I think this is an extremely underrated film, not only in the wartime era, but in Disney's catalog of films to date. Now, at number 2, we have Melody Time, which, a reason why it might be this high on the list is that I have a deep connection to this film. I watched this film a lot as a kid, and just going back and watching it just brought me back to my childhood. But on top of all the nostalgia, this is still a very good film that does the package style of the filmmaking of this time and does it wonderfully with some great stories that are creative, and the animation is very much improved from the animation that we've seen previously in the earlier package films. And also the storylines are great. The Johnny Appleseed short is a masterpiece with fantastic animation, beautiful music, and it's just really heartwarming. And then also there's Pecos Bill at the very end, which is incredibly sad, engaging, funny, and the prelude to it is really engaging with this live action segment with these singers that is just a lot of fun. The movie is really creative and is definitely a step up from what we got in Make Mine Music. And finally, at number 1, we have my favorite wartime Disney film, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. This is the one Disney film from this era that I absolutely love. Both shorts in this film are fantastic. The Mr. Toad segment with The Wind in the Willows is so much fun and insane and crazy that it's just so fun to watch. And also, the Legend of Sleepy Hollow segment is still thrilling, funny, and really terrifying with a great musical number that is still terrifying to this day and so much fun. Now, I know a lot of people, when they talk about this movie, they talk about the amazing Legend of Sleepy Hollow segment, which is great, but honestly, aside for the end of that short, with the emergence of the Headless Horseman and that song, I think the Wind in the Willows segment is so entertaining, so energetic. The animation in it is absolutely wonderful. I love the characters. I love the action during it all. It just makes for an entertaining watch and is definitely the best movie from this era and really shows how the animation improved and got more complex as these movies were coming out, and is definitely the best of this era. And that is my ranking for the Disney wartime era, or as it's also known, the package film era. Guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this ranking. I enjoyed watching these movies. Even though I didn't love every single one of them, they were still really interesting to look at and watch and see how they grow. But now the time is done, and we are going to go into the future to look at the Silver Age of Disney, starting with Cinderella. So, anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. As I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And also, what are your rankings of the Disney wartime era films? Did I hit right on the mark, or did you completely disagree with my list? I want to know your list down below, so please comment in the comments section below. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review.